And I appreciate everybody that reached out and sent something, and all the posts and all the excitement that's been going on. It's been really fun telling everybody who I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with.
This love story has plot twists faster than a Netflix rom-com. First up, Travis Kelce turned his own backyard into a Nicholas Sparks set, pulling off a same-day proposal right after a New Heights taping with Taylor. Then, Jason Kelce crashed the vibe with a hilarious fake beer fail that left him questioning life choices.
I'm drinking beer. I'm not really hammering them. I'm just kind of putting, one back every, 30 minutes or something. Just kind of enjoying beers last night. About, I think it was third quarter, I find out that I've been drinking non-alcoholic beer the entire game.
And speaking of Jason, he's already lobbying for best man status at the wedding like it's draft day.
I'm gonna fire up something a lot better. We're gonna do a lot more planning.
Yeah.
I gotta be good. I gotta be good at this. Well, first of all, hopefully I'm the best man. We'll see. Trav has a lot of friends. I'm just hoping to get the opportunity.
Right.
Next, experts revealed Tay and Trav aren't just America's sweethearts, they're literal royalty with bloodlines to kings. Cam Newton even weighed in, calling Taylor intimidating and crowning Travis brave for shooting a shot.
When you're Taylor Swift, you're intimidating. Yeah. So in order for a guy to go through your manager,
And finally, we rewind to Taylor's Hallmark moment, a 3-hour living room concert for wrestling legend Jeff Jarrett's late wife. Taylor Swift just wrapped recording the most watched New Heights podcast ever, chatting with Travis and Jason, dropping album nuggets, and throwing in some rom-com banter about their love story. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Travis is running a whole covert op in his backyard. While Taylor's in full glam mode and probably thinking about what snack she wants after filming, there's a crew outside turning the place into a garden straight out of a Nicholas Sparks movie. Yeah, this man really plotted a double feature, podcast and proposal back to back. Insiders say Travis picked that day on purpose because, let's be honest, Taylor wasn't about to get engaged with messy bun energy and hoodie vibes. She was already camera ready, so why not add future Mrs. Kelce to the look? And apparently, he'd been carrying around this I'm gonna marry her mindset for a while. It was less about picking a symbolic date and more about squeezing it in between her tour madness and his NFL grind. Classic tight end, always working the play clock. Fans, of course, sniffed it out early. Some eagle-eyed Swifties noticed the telltale headphone hair in Taylor's engagement pics, proving the podcast and proposal were basically back-to-back scenes. Meanwhile, Travis, cool as ever, lured her outside with a casual let's grab a glass of wine before hitting her with the knee drop and a ring that screams Super Bowl money. Word is he even co-designed the sparkler with a jeweler, and let's just say the price tag could probably fund a small stadium renovation. And speaking of Taylor's casual always turning into a headline, Jason Kelce just tossed himself into the comedy spotlight with a beer blunder that might haunt him forever. The man hopped on a podcast and admitted he spent an entire game thinking he was sipping the good stuff, only for Taylor to casually point out he'd been pounding non-alcoholic buds the whole time. Imagine trying to be the big tough retired NFL guy, only to realize you've basically been crushing fancy soda water all night. Jason said it hit him like a blitz, most shame he'd ever felt, like his inner voice was screaming, "Bro, what's wrong with you?"
I'm drinking beer. I'm not really hammering them. I'm just kind of putting, one back every, 30 minutes or something. Just kind of enjoying beers last night. About, I think it was third quarter, I find out that I've been drinking non-alcoholic beer the entire game.
Who was the person that tapped in the shoulders and hey, just so you know?
Taylor.
Turns out Travis wasn't any better. Taylor apparently ratted both brothers out, saying Travis had fallen into the same trap, and suddenly it's like a Kelce family intervention. Both dudes sitting there holding Bud Zero cans like they'd just been catfished. Jason even joked that he wasted 3/4 of his life that night. Honestly, if you can't laugh at yourself for fake beer tailgating, are you even a Kelce? And this wasn't Jason's first run-in with awkward beer drama around Taylor either. She once spilled that during her London Eras tour, Jason basically froze when the royal family appeared, clutching his drink like it was a security blanket. He wanted to keep it, but also didn't want to look like beer guy in front of the crown. Taylor described watching him battle it out with his conscience, and let's be real, that's the most Jason Kelce plotline ever. And Jason is now clutching onto something else, hope. Yep, Big Brother is already campaigning for the best man role at Taylor and Travis's wedding. On a recent podcast, he joked that he's basically praying his name gets called in the draft, but he's also painfully aware that Travis has a squad of buddies who might be eyeing that mic too. Imagine being Jason Kelce, Super Bowl champ, Philadelphia legend, and still sweating whether you'll get the nod over Travis's college roommate Chad. Brutal.
I'm gonna fire up something a lot better. We're gonna do a lot more planning.
Yeah.
If
I gotta be
anybody's giving
good.
the best man
I gotta be
speech,
good
yeah.
at this. Well, first of all, hopefully I'm the best man. We'll see. Trav has a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
But Jason isn't just angling for the job with banter, he's pulling out the emotional receipts. He got all sentimental, talking about how he just wants Travis to have the happiest, most fulfilled life possible, and how picking the right partner is the secret sauce. Coming from a guy with 4 daughters and a marriage that's basically a wholesome Netflix show, that's a pretty solid endorsement.
I know the kind of person he is, and I've been blessed to get to know Taylor over the last couple of years. And I just think that they match so well together. They are unbelievably supportive of each other. First of all, I love my brother, and I just want him to have like the most fulfilled, best life possible. And such a huge part of that is like, you know, who you end up marrying, who you end up raising a family with.
He went on about how Taylor and Travis have this crazy ability to cheer each other on without tripping over their own superstar careers. According to him, it's like watching 2 juggernauts tag team life, and the match is unfair in the best way. Of course, Jason couldn't help circling back to that human exclamation point moment. He said hearing Taylor describe his brother that way was hands down the best summary of Travis he'd ever heard. It clearly hit him right in the soft spot, because suddenly this larger-than-life lineman is tearing up on a podcast, basically delivering a trial run of what could very well be his best man speech. The hosts even teased him about it, and Jason laughed it off but admitted if he gets the gig, he'll have to up his game.
And like the human exclamation point was like the best way I've ever heard Travis described in my life. I think it's like such an accurate statement. The dude just brings joy in like to every place he ever is, and like people love him, and he makes everything better. At all times, I know my brother's intentions and who he is as a person and the values that my parents raised him with, and, you know, how he treats people, how he treats women, all of these things.
Meanwhile, insiders say Taylor and Travis aren't just America's royal couple because fans like to meme it up. These two are literally rocking royal DNA. Genealogy experts dug around the family trees and, surprise, surprise, Travis is apparently distant cousins with King George I of Britain, while Taylor's linked up with King Louis XIV, the actual Sun King of France. So basically, one side brought constitutional monarchy, the other brought Versailles, and now their descendants are bringing Instagram engagement posts with 35 million likes. The math checks out. Let's be honest, the moment the news dropped, you could practically hear Swifties dusting off their tiaras and Chiefs Kingdom Googling how to bow properly. If anyone had doubts that their wedding would be a global spectacle, the whole descended from kings thing just made it official. Forget you belong with me. Taylor literally belongs with Versailles now. And Travis, the man might have been drafted by the NFL, but his family tree drafted him straight into Buckingham Palace. One researcher even pointed out the parallels, saying Louis XIV shaped culture with music and parties, while Taylor's basically doing the same thing, minus the powdered wigs and plus the Eras Tour merch. Meanwhile, George I shifted British politics forever, and here's Travis shifting NFL defenses and occasionally the vibe of Taylor's Instagram grid. Different centuries, same energy. Fans are eating it up too. Their engagement announcement wasn't just liked by millions of everyday people, it even pulled in the ultimate Instagram double tap from Princess Kate and Meghan Markle. Like imagine posting your ring selfie and getting royal approval within hours. That's not just a flex, that's a monarchy level mic drop. But just when you thought the royal couple reveal was the peak of the drama, in struts Cam Newton with his hot take, and oh boy, he did not hold back. On his podcast, the former Panthers QB basically crowned Travis Kelce the bravest man alive, not for catching passes across the middle, but for shooting a shot with Taylor Swift. According to Cam, it's not like you just walk up to Taylor at a bar with a, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" Nope. You gotta run through a gauntlet of managers, assistants, maybe even her cat's approval before you even get to say hello. And still, Trav pulled it off. That's not game, that's gladiator energy. Cam also called Taylor straight up intimidating, and honestly, who can argue? The woman can fill stadiums, crash Ticketmaster, and casually make presidents look like opening acts. So when he says only a certain caliber of dude can let her just be soft, it's basically Cam tipping his hat to Kelce for being the NFL's smoothest tight end both on and off the field. Of course, Cam couldn't resist poking at the bigger debate. Is the Kelce-Swift union enough to dethrone the Mannings as football's royal fam? For years, Peyton, Eli, and now little Arch have had that dynasty vibe locked down. But throw Taylor Swift into the Kelce mix, and suddenly we're not just talking touchdowns, we're talking chart toppers, Eras Tour documentaries, and engagement posts that pull in 35 million likes. Sorry, Mannings, but does anyone scream primetime legacy harder than a Super Bowl champ marrying the Queen of Pop? Cam even joked about kids today barely knowing who Eli is, while everyone on the planet knows Taylor's entire discography. Brutal, but not wrong. The Kelces aren't just running the AFC, they're hijacking pop culture too. And with Travis possibly eyeing retirement after this season, fans are already painting the picture. One last playoff run, maybe a Lombardi, then riding off into the sunset with Taylor by his side like it's the final scene of a sports rom-com. And speaking of rom-com endings, Taylor's been out here living like the lead in a Hallmark movie long before Travis ever entered the chat. Case in point, wrestling legend Jeff Jarrett just dropped a gem about how Taylor once basically turned his living room into the Grand Ole Opry for his family. Back in 2006, when his wife Jill was battling breast cancer, Taylor, still rocking cowboy boots and eyeliner wings sharper than a steel chair, showed up at their house for Christmas. She didn't even bring her guitar at first, but when Jarrett's daughters begged her to sing, she sprinted back home, grabbed it, and ended up doing a 3-hour private concert right there in their great room. Forget Madison Square Garden, this was Madison Square Living Room. By the end of the afternoon, the house was packed, the kids were starry-eyed, and Taylor was basically the cool babysitter every family dreams of, except this one came with a record deal. She didn't just sing and bounce, she stuck around, baked cookies, and even watched the kids after Jill passed away the following year. One of Jarrett's daughters even landed the role playing young Taylor in the Mine music video later on, which is like the universe's way of saying, yeah, this friendship was meant to be. And get this, Taylor's dad still keeps in touch with Jarrett, which means this wasn't some one-off charity gig. This was legit family vibes. Meanwhile, the man himself is now joking that once Travis retires from the NFL, he's got a spot waiting for him in pro wrestling. Can you imagine Kelce in a singlet, storming down the AEW ramp with Taylor hyping him like a WWE ring announcer? Tell me that wouldn't break the internet. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.